I feel like I kind of forgot who I am in a certain way. Um, I have been doing a lot of soul searching lately, reading, and I keep coming across these passages in these books that really stand out to me and resonate with me in one way or another. And I have so many things that I just want to stand up and scream about and ramble on about. But I think the first thing I want to talk about is why I think I forgot who I am and what I mean when I say that. I have a list of things that I wrote down. Um, the first part I would say is I don't ever form my own opinions anymore. Everything I am and think, my morals, the things I do, I have just soaked up like a sponge from whether it's short form content, long form content, podcast. Um, and I have been just trapped in this consume cycle for way too long. And I don't even know who I am. I don't really have original thoughts or ideas anymore. And unless I actually sit down and stop and realize, not realize, but until I sit down and it's completely quiet and it's nothing but me and my thoughts. That's where I have the most original thoughts and ideas. And because I am constantly stuck in this trap of consumption, I don't ever really do anything but consume. And that leaves no space for anything original. And that really humbled me, um, because I'm actually now starting to fall in love with the idea of not consuming and being in that space where it's just myself and my thoughts. It's scary at first. Um, and a lot of the mindfulness content that I've been reading has really helped me get comfortable in that silence. And that's been a massive growth point for me personally. Um, in that silence, having those original thoughts, those ideas, um, sitting down to actually record something uh, came to me while I was not consuming. Um, I figure it's better to create something than to continue to consume. And if I create content, not even content, I don't even want to call it content because this is more for me than anyone else. If I sit down and create something that I truly enjoy and something I read about and I practice, um, it will help me remember it. It really will. And I haven't had that feeling in such a long time because I've been out of school for quite a while, getting old. Um, but just that feeling of retention when you sit down and you give something your full focus, you take notes on it, and you do it in a way that's not rushed. Um, there's this really good, I'm going to get sidetracked here for a second. There's this really good, like quote reference from The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching. It's a Thich Nhat Hanh video. I'm probably butchering his name. And they talk about how it's like an old story of I'm going to not remember this correctly at all, but they, there's some men, women, will be inclusive here. And they're basically just sitting somewhere, and someone on a horse comes by, and the horse is just booking it, booking it, booking it. And there's a man on the horse, and they say, "Where are you going?" And the guy just looks back at them and says, "Wherever the horse goes." And that was like, whoa. I started getting so extremely emotional from that, which is surprising because in essence, it's just like, it's a super simple, basic sentence. But the way I applied it to myself really struck me. And I realized that everything I've done for the last 9 years has just been this whirlwind rat race, fast paced, moving ball of just riding the horse, not steering it, not showing it where to go. Especially with my work. Back in 2000, gosh, let's say probably back in 2018, after I had problems with substance abuse, I didn't have high confidence in myself to really do anything. And I decided, okay, I'll go to a technical school in my local town and see what programs they have. Magically, I stumbled into computers because, I knew how to build a gaming computer at the time, and that was kind of what was fun to me. And I actually enjoyed what I was learning, but I never really felt like I gave it 100%. I haven't given anything 100% in a very long time. I don't remember the last time I poured every ounce of my body, soul, passion, drive into something. And even though that was the case and I wasn't putting forth maximum effort, things continued to line up. I don't know why. Part of me feels like I don't deserve any of it. And we'll get to that. It is so strange to just show up and do the thing and not put 100% in and still get results. And still kind of be depressed about it 9 years later. Gosh, probably longer than 9 years. So I go back on topic. I go to technical school, and I spend 90% of it blasting through coursework on the learning portal, just enough to pass the test. Going on, every like 2 hours we'd get a break. I'd just go get high in my car. And then I'd come back in and I would probably smell horrible in that tiny classroom. No one ever said anything. But we're all kind of adults at that point. It's not high school. Everyone's there for their education. They don't care if I come in smelling like a skunk just marked its territory on me. And through meeting the right people, I was given my first opportunity to do an internship as an IT professional. And that was game breaking, ground changing, whatever you want to call it. because this was the first time I was exposed to the corporate world and had to, I don't want to say conform. I don't like that word. But the first time in my life I had to show up. And that first exposure, because I wasn't mindful and never really taught myself or guided myself in how I should show up. And I got this really bad idea of how things work because of the environment I was in. So I would see all these people racing. What's the next thing? Where's the next watch? Where's the next car? What's the next promotion? Playing the corporate game of having to go out downtown and drink and do everything to be the boss's best friend, in favor of getting. It's not like a bribery thing, but it's more of like if you schmooze the boss outside of the office and you get close with him and you share drinks, it does in essence end up helping the relationship in the office. You may call me crazy, you may think different. That's fine, you're entitled to your own opinion. But every time we would go out and drink and do those things, we'd come back and, to the office and, you start getting, trusted with more things, leaned on a lot more. And you start to see, oh yeah, there's that little hit of, I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to go to the top. I want to make this much money. I want to buy this. I want to buy that. I'm gonna have a new car that I can show off. And I fell into that trap pretty hard. And while I went through that internship, it just got worse. It got worse and worse and worse and worse. And I decided, hey, I can get a technical certification. Why not try college? So I paid out of pocket for local community college classes. Spoiler alert, I got my associate's degree a long time later. But I was now like making like $30,000 a year as like an intern. Well, first off, as the intern, I was making like $14 an hour. It was terrible. And I didn't have any benefits. But then they actually gave me a salaried position, which was like $30,000 a year. But I had benefits, so I couldn't complain. So, and right away, the first time I was like, yeah, I'm on salary. I got benefits. I cared way too much about what other people were going to think. Like where's the closest person I can flex this to, that I've got this corporate salary job and now I got benefits. I don't need to be on nobody's insurance, or sorry, not nobody's insurance. I don't need to ask my parents for anything anymore. Just get my own apartment. I'm living large. Not really. 30,000 a year is terrible. I was suffering. But I thought I was cool. And then about 2 years to 3 years later, I just felt like I couldn't climb. And I was so restless and anxious, and the people around me were doing better than me. And that led me to, I was like, I fuck this place, fuck these people. Terrible mindset. Not fuck those people. They're other human beings too, just trying to make it, just like me. And I ended up getting a contract job with a different company. It was a financial institution, that's all I'll say. And I went from that. Really, I think at the time I was like, I had made to like 34,000 a year with a couple of like yearly evaluation performance buffs or whatever. Not buffs, but performance review, bonus, salary adjustment, yada. And I switch over to this finance company, $28 an hour on contract. And holy shit, I was balling. Well, I thought I was balling. I didn't have insurance because now I was a contractor, but the healthcare marketplace exists. So I still had something. It just wasn't the best. And I had to pay a lot for it. But now I'm in this finance banking environment doing technology work. And I'm a contractor. I'm not a full-time employee like a lot of these people. And so I'm seeing these people get bonuses at the beginning of the year. Well, they got like review cycles at the end of the last quarter, and then bonuses going into the new quarter. And it's usually like December, January, February is when you see this. And to see all the people around me getting these massive bonuses, I was like, man, it sucks that I'm a contractor. And so I suffered and I was miserable because it wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. So I kept working for this credit union through the pandemic. And after two-ish years, it just became all too much. Never got that job. I did get the job, but I never got like a official salaried position with that bank. I could not escape the contractor trap, but I spent money like I was getting those bonuses. I never truly saved anything. Fast forward, I get distraught. The pandemic has put me in this terrible headspace. I'm an alcoholic by this point. I'm 358 pounds, and I just feel like I'm dying. Panic attacks at work, leaving. I mean, there were a few times I left work and went to the emergency room because I thought I was having a heart attack. And really, it was just chugging alcohol every night, having a monster the next morning, and then vaping the whole day. Terrible. Terrible. Don't do it. Do it. It's terrible for you. And I left that job. I got a better job, a junior security administrator role. Hallelujah, right? That was big because at that point I was like, oh, wow, here we go. Here's the money. Here's what we've been waiting for. And so now I'm here making $70,000 a year on salary, balling, spending it all. New video game, cop it. Motorcycle's my new hobby for this year, cop it. I want to make music, so I'm going to buy a shitload of plugins for like $2,000, cop it. Spend. Never enough. Consume. And I'm still at this job, the one where I got hired on, making $70,000 a year. And I have been with this company for I think my 5-year anniversary will be this January, 2027. And in that time, I've had a role change. I'm actually a cybersecurity engineer for them. And I'm making just over $100,000 a year on salary. And guess what? It's still not enough. And that's horrible. That's horrible. Why is it not enough? Because I'm brainwashed. I'm brainwashed by the social media. I'm brainwashed by consumption. And I tell you what, I tell you what, sports fans, I have had more fun this last month and than ever in what I can remember the last 10 to 11 years. Just because I deleted every social media app, everything that was telling me, oh, I need to be this person, I need to maximize this, I need to do that, I need to be this, and I finally for once stopped. I stopped. I looked in the mirror. I was like, I'm not doing this rat race shit anymore. And I stopped caring so much. Not stop caring to lose your job, stop caring, but stop caring about the next thing, the next raise, the next promotion, the next this, the next that. And being and existing in this present moment. And that has been massive for me. Because now I'm spending my time reading, right? Training my focus for 30 minutes to an hour at a time without any stimulation. I feel like I'm growing as a person again, and I'm getting back in touch with like who I am, because the whole purpose of why I got up to sit down and yap into this microphone for the first time ever is because I feel like I forgot who I am. And so I'm probably gonna say dumb shit and make mistakes along the way, but I want to remember who I am. Like, I want to remember that kid that everyone talks so good of when I was growing up and my parents would take me places. That kid who always smiled and that was never scared or wasn't always lusting for the next thing. And so I think I can fix this by just slowing down. And I'm excited for what's going to happen. And I'm going to do my best to stick with this. Because the more I can break away from the consumption and sit down and create something, and that something be relevant to what I'm teaching myself or how I'm trying to change and grow as a person, that's where the satisfaction and content with my life is going to come from. I really believe that. Well, if you listen to this rambling yap session, thank you. Again, this video really isn't for anyone but me. But if you got something useful out of it, I'm glad. And maybe I'll be able to get out of the bed and do this again, because I've been telling myself for the last 2 months, like, oh, I want to get up. I want to go do this. I want to make something meaningful, something that I care about. And I just lay in bed and I can't get out of the fucking bed. I can never get out of the bed and get up and do it. And I don't know what gave me the strength to get out of the bed today. I just finally was like, I've had enough. I keep telling myself, oh, you need a whole script and you need to write it out and you need to plan and you need to do this. And no, because that's just me waiting for everything to be perfect again. And if I keep waiting for everything to be perfect, I'm never going to do it. So I'm glad that this is going to be raw, probably unedited and imperfect, which is the complete opposite of the slop I've been feeding myself for so long. So, cheers, everyone.